Dehumanizing the population. This is what this COVID-19 and the social distancing has done to our society and has done to us now. Fuck, I am stammering bad today. But yeah, I mean, I've been into the Greggs, yeah? Got myself some apple juice, and the staff are limited, right? There's not as much staff as there used to be. They're behind a plastic screen. We've been told to we've still been told to stand at a distance of 2 meters apart, and there's a guy who's just come out there and he's wearing a face a mask. I mean, seriously, I'll tell you something now, yeah? I will never wear a face mask. I will never wear one. And why will I not wear a face mask? Simply because it's a form of oppression, and I clench a fist to oppression. Because one of the ways how we communicate is through facial expression. And how can you see what a person is feeling when they are wearing a piece of fabric across their face like a fucking idiot? Pardon the French. I've got a low battery, so I am checking it again. But yeah, and I've said before and I'll say it again, the people who are in charge have not thought this thing through. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. They've only been focusing on this coronavirus, yeah? Well, I'm sorry, but with all due respect, one size does not fit all. And an example I can give of that is when I I saw the news the other day, and it was about this woman who was deaf, right? And the only way that she can communicate with people is through lip reading, right? She's deaf. She's 100% deaf, and she can only communicate through lip reading. And with all due respect, how on earth can she communicate with people when they're wearing a mask? And this is what I'm trying to say. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And it's what one size does not fit all. They haven't thought about deaf people. They haven't thought about the elderly who can't go out and shop. And before anyone says, oh well, they can do it online, Craig, newsflash, not all old people have a computer. Not all old people have kept up with the times. They still rely on old-fashioned shopping, and that is actually, going out and shopping, yeah, actually leaving the house to do shopping, and God forbid they may get close to people and actually talk to people and actually have a conversation with people in the real world in person. Remember that, people? Yeah? Before all this fucking shit started, more people die of influenza than they do of COVID-19, right? We have been living with viruses since the dawn of time. And more people die from AIDS than of COVID-19. Yet we haven't had social distancing when it came to influenza, and we didn't have social distancing when it came to COVID-19. You know, why isn't that then, people? You know, think, yeah? And stop living in fear. Why? Because as harsh as this may sound, if you're going to constantly live in fear, then you might as well commit suicide. I'm sorry to say that, but because if you're constantly living in fear, what's the point of living at all, right? Now, obviously, I am not encouraging for people to kill themselves, obviously, but the point I'm trying to get across is, if you're constantly living in fear, you know, if you're constantly frightened of people, if you're constantly, you know, just having a fucking handshake, man. I mean, what the fuck? You know, you got to keep all the social distancing, you can't greet people, you can't, and